Hello, and welcome to Side Character Quest. My name is Ty, and I will be your host, your dungeon master, your gamekeeper, all these sorts of things. With me today is... It's your turn now.
Hi, my name is Mason, and I'll be your Game Boy. I'll be playing the game today.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of the word player for a second. It just completely slipped my brain, and I went with Game Boy.
Game Boy's not bad. I like Game Boy.
I guess it works.
People who have listened to the show for a long time remember when Mason came on the show ages ago on the Side Character Questions episode, and we just chatted about the show. And now he's living the dream. He's actually going to be here. He's actually going to be playing with me and with you, with all of us.
I feel like a red carpet reporter that just got a bit part in a movie with one of the actors that you used to report on or something. That's a really specific and strange anecdote that I don't know has ever happened, but
I hope that it has. If that has happened, everybody, I want you to write a 5-star review and tell us about the time that it happened on iTunes or Podchaser or one of those places.
That'll get them tied. That'll just blow your reviews right up. All the stories.
I was just thinking before we started about how I never ask people for reviews. I never ask people to share things, and I need to do that more.
So
and that's the way I decided to do it.
You hitched your cart to... If any of you are red carpet reporters who ended up getting bit parts in movies with actors you've interviewed, leave a review.
I mean, if you are, then you have to. You can't not.
Yeah, I mean, you've probably been itching to tell that story.
Oh, you've been waiting. But while you're writing out that story, Mason, tell us a little bit about your experience with tabletop role-playing games, with Dungeons & Dragons, that sort of thing.
So I'm kind of a latecomer to the whole world of tabletop RPGs. I did... it was 6 years ago now, which is kind of wild to think about. I was in a production of Eurydice on the stage, and I became good friends with our stage manager, who had a Dungeons & Dragons role-playing group, and I've been just playing with them for 6 years because the first time I played it, I was like, what is this, and why haven't I done this my whole life? Because I love it. So we've played a bunch of different systems and stuff over the past 6 years.
You guys swap out a lot of the dungeon mastering, game mastering responsibilities, right?
Yeah, we do a round robin thing. I DM'd my first full-length campaign since before all of the 2020 stuff started happening. It was supposed to be a one-shot that I was running, and we was it'll be 2 sessions, and then it turned into a 9.5-month campaign in Dungeon World, so not D&D.
Nice. And you actually brought that to a close recently, right? Didn't you?
I did. Oh, and 2 side quest characters made cameos in this. It's not like a podcast, it's just something we played for fun, but 2 Dragonborn that people would recognize as being particularly eminent made it into that campaign.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I couldn't not. And yeah, it was really cool.
I love that so much. All right, so now, before we actually get into the game playing, I usually like to start by giving those folks that care a little bit about the crunchy stuff, the game mechanic stuff, a quick overview of your character. So if you could just tell us a little bit about your character's name, what their class is, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, just dish the granola. My character's name is Talbotton. He's a level 5 bard from the College of Creation, which is from the extension Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, which has a lot of really cool classes and other sorts of things, feats and whatnot in it. But he's a level 5 bard, College of Creation. He is a tiefling, specifically a Brega tiefling, actually, which is...
homebrewed just for this campaign, or this whole SEQ setting. We're not going to go too much into the details behind that, but basically it is a vaguely more nature, less diabolical compared to normal tiefling.
Kind of like a nature demon.
Yeah. Like you're a cryptid, like you're a spooky thing that you see in the forest at some point. But yeah, they're actually just a person, just like you and me.
Some of them are poets.
And
Which-
go ahead.
I know it's not mechanical, but he's definitely more of a written word kind of bard than a singer, songwriter, actor, dancer.
No, that's important. I think you said that you were going to be using
I've said a lot of things, Ty.
yeah.
I've said a lot of things.
All right. Do you want to, how about we get into the show?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to start recording. No, I'm just kidding.
Wait.
Oh, God. Just kidding.
Ty, you can't do that. You hurt me. I was like, I've been rolling for 25 minutes.
No.
You can't fool me. We counted to 16.
Yeah. All right. We open on, or how do I want to phrase this? I specifically didn't write a lot of narration this time around, so we'll see how that goes. In the city of Circ, along cobblestone streets, we come across Abercorn Street and a quiet tea shop. Inside of TNT, we see... All right. I love it when I say something stupid and I can see the player react and it just like throws me off.
No, that wasn't stupid. I loved it. I love
Okay.
TNT.
All right. Well, inside of TNT, we see a number of fake alchemy sets. We see bubbling cauldrons. We see a mine cart. We see, not mine cart, that doesn't make any goddamn sense. We see bubbling cauldrons. We see beakers. We see vials. We see Bunsen burners. And it's all just sort of this ridiculous over the top aesthetic that looks kind of like it's an alchemy shop, but it's really just a tea shop. You see on the chalkboard, you see a sign that offers the special of the day, which is a Mount Rena fog. And we see a man off to the side in front of several rows of chairs that have been set out. He is just finishing up giving a reading of one of his recent publications.
Like the broken backs of those who walked the least. Thank you. Yeah, shut up.
Oh, that was absolutely wonderful. Everybody, thank you for coming. A halfling woman stands up and gestures out to the crowd of chairs, which are empty aside from one or two people that are just drinking coffee and not looking towards you. Thank you so much for coming out to meet us today, Mr. Talbotton. Thank you for reading your work. It's absolutely wonderful. I really could not be happier to have you out here today. Does anybody have any questions for our esteemed guest?
Good.
Are you gonna finish that over there? That drink you got?
This my drink.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I saw you put it down before the actual reading started, and you haven't touched it since. And I mean, I can clear it for you if you want.
Talbotton just death glare at this person.
Okay. Well, I can see. Okay. All right. I'll just take that then.
Reaches out and grabs it.
Talbotton just stares at him, unmoving.
I don't think that he wants.
No, ma'am. I'm just doing my job.
I do really. You don't. Okay. He's leaving now. Well, any other questions? Anybody want to talk to our esteemed guest here? We got him out of his hole for once, and okay.
Ty, what is this character's name? I would probably know.
This character's name is Morgan. She is your publisher.
I think after she just says that last thing, I just stand up from, I'm assuming, the stool that I'm perched on, clap her on the shoulder and say, thanks, Morgan, and then walk out the door.
As you walk out of the door, she bursts open the door and is like running after you. She is a shorter halfling woman, and so she is having to stride pretty large to keep up with you. What would somebody seeing this scene see?
Probably just a slightly tall enough to be, just slightly taller than average what looks like a human man in a long coat. What season is it? It's probably not like winter, I'm guessing. I don't know.
I literally had the thought of, before we recorded, I had this thought over and over again. Should I figure out what season this is? Like,
It won't come up.
like I really am not sure because I feel like at some point I said, but like, there's no way it's actually gonna come up. I'm just making the
and then 2 minutes in.
Let's say it's spring, and if that's wrong, I'm sorry.
Here's the best part. It doesn't matter because I was just going to say, even if it's unseasonable, he's wearing a long coat and a big hat that covers his head and sort of a high collar. But not in the sense where you'd see him and think, oh, that looks suspicious, just more of like, oh, that looks like a hipster.
Got it.
And he's just striding away. If anything, his nose just looks a little... He's got a strange shaped nose for a man.
Interesting. As you're walking away, as Morgan catches up to you, Hector, you can't walk out of another one of these. It's part of your contract. You have to do 2 per
I
release.
finished this one, Morgan. I finished the reading. You asked for their questions. They asked for my drink. I'm done. Contract fulfilled.
No, that's not how it works.
I think it went swimmingly. Don't you?
I think that it went very well until you just got up and left. What happens if somebody walks in to get a tea and you're not there? Obviously, you can't expect everybody to like just sit down just for you. You have to be ready for when the new crowds come in.
Yes. Right, for after I finish the reading, in case someone walks in for a tea and then they hear you asking if they have any questions, and this person who just walked in wants to maybe ask for the other drink that I have. I did the reading. Nobody had any questions. Both of the people there seemed to enjoy it. We're through. I'm assuming you got paid?
Yes, I mean, yes.
Yes, so congratulations. You've gotten your due from me, and I'm going home.
Fine. Fine. But you need to have your second draft with the corrections available in 2 weeks, remember.
I think Talbotton stops, and he turns and looks at Morgan, and he's. I don't think he was facing her this whole time, but he looks like sad, like he's putting on this angry thing, but he just like watery kind of eyes, and says, "Can I get an extension? 2 weeks is a lot."
Hector, we've talked about this. I've already given you an extension, and you're supposed to. We are at a strict deadline. 2 publications a year, 1 small, 1 more major, and I have 2 weeks, 2 extra weeks. You can have it done and then.
Yes, Morgan. If you can double. I'll even take 1 extra week. It's just anything.
All right.
You have to understand, as a creative type, the muse does not respect deadlines.
I am not.
Does not operate on a schedule.
Gosh. I'm not exactly the creative type, but I've worked with a number of them in my day, so fine, I understand. All right, 1 month total.
Yes, and if you can avoid dragging me out to any more of these dog and pony shows, I'd appreciate it, because it doesn't do anything for my self-esteem.
Fine.
And Talbotton turns and walks away.
And I think that she lets you. She stands there for a moment, huffs, and then turns off, walks the other way down Abercorn. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think... what a cheery way to jump in. I think Talbotton just sort of continues down the street for a while, makes sure that Morgan is really gone, and then diverts, instead of heading back to his house, maybe to dip into a haunt of his.
Okay.
In this sort of area.
So it's probably about 4 or 5 in the afternoon. Where do you go?
Would there be a place that is sort of like a hole-in-the-wall tea shop that perhaps is objectively bad, so people don't tend to go there?
Yeah, I think there would be I don't have a name for a second tea shop off the top of my head. How about okay, I've got one. So you make your way north through the city, sort of vaguely in the direction of Congress Monastery, of the direction of the Circle, and you stop at a shop going down a alley, and there's a sign on the front of the shop that says Divinity, but that sign has really just kind of fallen off. Very clearly, nobody doesn't seem to actually go here that often. It's not. Maybe it's popular with a very small set, but it's not just going to get random folks who don't already know about it wandering up.
That's absolutely perfect, and also good that it's close to the monastery, because I think if there is a single person that Talbotton wouldn't mind running into, it would probably be Pard. I don't know if Pard spends time here, but I'm not saying he has to. He's not seeking out Pard, but I'm just saying that in his mind, he's the only person I wouldn't hate to talk to right now would probably be Pard.
Yeah, you step inside this tea shop, and it is dingy. It is dark. It looks like maybe it once was a very shiny, clean kind of place, but hasn't really been kept up at all. A lot of the wallpaper is peeling. The wood is worn. Crown molding and whatever is just really shitty. And you walk up, grab person behind the bar. Immediately recognizes you, gets your order ready. What do you get?
I think he probably gets a black tea, but with a lot of cream and sugar in it.
That's opposite of the direction I thought you were going to go. I love it.
Yeah, I think he puts it in himself. I think he says just an Earl Grey. Leave room for tea. Leave room for cream. Tea, give me a cup and leave room for some tea.
The bartender, the what's the word for a coffee shop bartender?
Barista.
The barista behind the bar just sort of plops down an empty cup in front of you.
Yeah, I think I just grab it.
All right. And he turns away and starts just cleaning some dishes.
And Talbotton walks just around the edge of the counter and pours himself a splash of tea, and then fills the remaining space with cream, and then several big spoonfuls of sugar, and then walks back out around the counter and just sort of sits down in a booth, and pulls out a notebook and a quill and just starts staring at the first page of the notebook, trying to think of what to do for this second. He has not started the second book. He's got a bunch of individual lines, but
man,
I think he just sets to work scribbling things that are just not great, nursing this this tea-flavored milk that he's drinking.
Disgusting. So after...
It's actually pretty good.
So after maybe, I don't know, how long do you think that you're sitting there?
I think maybe I don't know, an hour and a half tops.
Okay. After about an hour and a half, you look at the clock over on the wall, which has just chimed. I guess that would put it around 7 o'clock now, maybe 6 o'clock, and which is right around the time that you are supposed to be meeting Pard over at Congress Monastery. Today is a special day for you two. Why?
Maybe, let's see, because Pard and I, he what was our connection? Because it's not like he was my adoptive parent.
No, you guys were...
we were orphans together.
Yes, you were orphans at the same time, and you were basically taken in to Congress Monastery or to a church at the same time, and he went to the church, and you were adopted by a loving family, presumably.
Right. I think maybe today is sort of the anniversary of when that happened. I mean, that just seems like the obvious choice.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Or it could be the anniversary of the first time they bumped into each other after having gone their separate ways.
Oh, that's sweet.
And it could be well, let's just keep doing it. Every year we'll make sure that we bump into each other. Say hi.
That's really nice. I like that. All right. Yeah. So, do you guys do anything special as part of this tradition? Are you bringing him a gift, or is it just a thing?
Oh yeah. There's definitely some cheesy poetry series that is to Talbotton, it is so just bad that it's kind of a guilty pleasure. Like, it's so bad, but it's very fun, and I think he actually does get some enjoyment out of it. But I think Father Pard maybe unironically really likes them.
I like that.
Like the band Dirty Loops. Like, they've got some stuff there's super jazzy stuff in there for people who are really deep into music, but there's also like really poppy elements that make their songs just kind of sound like pop songs.
Nice. Yeah, so...
That was a bit of a weird pull, but...
No, I got you.
Definitely got the newest copy of that series I'm bringing to him.
Nice. So you wrap up over at Divinity, exit out onto the cobblestone alleyway, and then move farther north, leaving behind Circ. And there's just a small, it's a short walk, maybe 10, 15 minutes across some lightly rolling hills until off in the distance you see the massive circle of stone that is to the north of Circ that gives the city its name. And just on the edge of that, you see built onto the side of that circle of stone, you see Congress Monastery, the home of Father Pard and of dozens of other monks that work below him. As you approach the monastery, you see that it has a large cathedral that has stained glass depictions of seasons of nature on either side of the main door into the cathedral. And then on either side of the cathedral as well, there is this sort of walled-in courtyard kind of thing that is also built up against the circle. And those two courtyards that are on the left and the right of the cathedral both have their own gateways that lead into that inner courtyard. The cathedral is open, as is the gate on the right to one of those courtyards.
I know where I'm going, right? To find Pard?
Yeah. So he could be in a few different places. It's up to you exactly like how you go about finding him, but he's been working in the Hall of the Forgotten recently, which is in that right courtyard, but it's possible as well that he could be in the main cathedral, or he could be in his office, which is also on that right courtyard.
Does the main cathedral connect up to the right courtyard? Like, can I go through the main cathedral?
Yeah, you could. You could. You'd have to like go. I mean, like up behind, through a sort of back exit and into that right courtyard that is generally reserved for the clergy. But, how often do you visit Pard? Would people recognize you here? Would people know that you have a connection with him?
That's a good question. I was going to say I don't think that Talbotton spends. I don't think that Talbotton spends that much time here. I think he and Pard meet up and do things.
Okay.
But then again, I don't think Talbotton really likes just sort of hanging about the town too much. So that's a good question. I think he's also very sneaky. Despite his sort of strange build, he is very sneaky. So I think he might nip around here. But I don't think he talks to anyone other than Pard.
Okay. So you probably, if you were to go into that main cathedral, you would probably, if there's an actual mass going on, or some sort of service happening, then you would have to be really sneaky to go out through that back way. But if not, then you probably could just walk there. Nobody would stop you.
I want to walk up to the entrance to the cathedral and see if I can hear anything.
So as you walk over there, you walk up to the cathedral, you can hear the sounds of imitations of animal cries as the hymns. You see at the back of the looking through the door, you see a bunch of people in the pews. You see some sort of priest or cleric on the altar, and behind them you just see red banners, bright red, and they are, like I said, doing some sort of animal noises in their hymn singing.
I think Talbotton, obviously staying out of eye shot, just kind of stands for a moment and listens, takes out his notebook, and jots down a couple of ideas. Because I think he's also just hungry for anything to write about, too, because as much as he is stressed out, he also very much enjoys surviving off of writing.
Yeah.
And then I think after listening for a little bit and just sort of taking it in, he dips around to the right courtyard to try and find Pard.
Okay, so walking out into this right courtyard, you see there's a series of in this very center of the courtyard. There is a circle of stone with these little stone benches around it. Against the big ancient stone circle that I mentioned that the whole Congress is built against, you see a large hall, a large building that is just sort of built isolated against that. And then against the outer wall of the courtyard, which has that gate that you were just in, you see 2 stories tall office buildings, basically, which you know to be where his office normally is. So that Hall of the Forgotten is where he often works, but he also could be in his office.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of meandering through the Congress Monastery. Not like, super meandering, because I definitely don't want to get sucked into any kind of social situation, but I do think I'm sort of trying to see everything with fresh eyes, because I didn't have a very productive session in Divinity. So I'm trying to see, like, okay, what can I look at and think of differently and take in? So,
yeah.
What is the Hall of the Forgotten? Says Mason.
Roll me I guess that would be either a history check or a religion check. Probably a religion, but you could go either way.
Okay, first roll of the game, a religion check. And that's 16 plus 3, 16, 17, 18, 19.
Nice. So a long time ago, there were a lot of back during the loss, during the forgetting. Part of that was the history of all of the religions of all of the gods were literally forgotten, were literally lost. And part of the role of Congress Monastery, in addition to providing people to worship all of the major gods, they also work to recover those lost gods, those forgotten gods, the ones that we no longer know the names of. We no longer know how to worship them, but we know they need to be. So, like, the Hall of the Forgotten is where a lot of that research is done.
Oh, snap. Book idea. I think I just have an idea. I want to talk to Pard. I'm going to dip into there, I think, to have this epiphany.
Okay. You dip inside, and you see there's a desk that has a person sitting at it. There's a guest book that you... have you ever been here before? To this specific room?
I think I have, to see Pard, but I never really... Yeah.
So you would be expected to sign in on that guest book, and then there's some just sort of benches around this sort of foyer, this sort of lobby space. And then you also see a doorway that leads deeper inside of the hall.
So I walk right up to the desk. Do I know who's sitting there?
Hi, well, excuse me, hello. If you could just sign in right there, who are you here to see today?
Yes, is Father Pard in?
Yes. He is back in the hall. He's doing some really important research. If would you like me to send him a message? Would you like to wait out here for him? What are you thinking?
Tell him that I hope he didn't forget our little anniversary tonight.
Oh, I'm sure he didn't forget your little anniversary. I'm sure you guys will have a lovely night. Do you need me to go see him now? Is this how pressing is this?
Well, if I can just go in and see him, if that's okay.
Over there? You want to go back there right now?
Yes. Is something wrong?
No, not at all.
Then I'll be on my way.
No, okay. She stands up and sort of stands between you and the door. You have been back here before, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll go get Father Pard. Don't you worry your silly little head. I'll go get him.
No, actually. New concern. Who are you?
Oh, I'm just, my name is, Quinn.
Quinn.
Yes, that's me.
Brilliant name, Quinn.
Oh, it's brilliant as lumen's light. You know it.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Now, Quinn, I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Would you consider yourself an intelligent individual? Would you consider yourself insightful?
As insightful as my mother made me.
I would describe you as cheerful, certainly.
Yeah?
I would describe you as bubbly,
thank
even.
you.
Eager.
Oh, you too.
But I don't know if I would list sharp among those adjectives, because clearly you have not noticed who I am, and I fully intend to proceed down this hallway to see Father Pard. By myself.
I'll just,
No?
yeah?
No, you won't.
What?
No. Sit
Okay.
down, Quinn.
All right. No. Okay. I'm just gonna. And she reaches behind herself and starts to crack.
Insight check.
Okay. Roll me that insight check.
Because something bad is happening. I don't feel good about this. This is weird. That's a nat 1. I just think Quinn is like some dumb kid who thinks there's something secret going on that like I can't go talk to Pard.
I feel like when you get a critical failure on an insight check, in my mind, I feel like what it should be is that you terribly misread the situation, but are 100% confident in your misreading. So what I'm going to say is that you think this person is just purposefully just being difficult. Like they are just a bureaucratic pencil pusher. They're just being difficult because everybody's difficult and people suck.
I think I've had it. I think I've had such a stressful frickin' day, and Pard didn't meet me anywhere yet. I'm gonna say, if this would make the situation work, like, feel free to just tell me that I don't have time to do this. But if this makes the situation worse, I feel like maybe I just cast sleep.
Do it.
Just yeah, I think because I've just had it, and like I am unreasonably irritated.
No, I love it.
This spell sends creatures into a magical slumber. Roll 5d8. The total is how many hit points of creatures this spell can affect.
Okay.
Creatures within 20 feet of a point you choose within range are affected in ascending order of their current hit points.
Do you want this to affect more people behind her? Beside her, she's the only person in the room, but there may be other people in the other room that you're trying to go into.
I think I'm trying to not sleep anyone but this person.
Okay.
But I don't. Is this room 20 feet across?
No. The room that you were in is maybe 20 feet across, but there is a door directly behind her. So I'm saying that this could this affect someone behind the door if there was somebody behind the door. I'm making this more difficult than it needs to be.
I think you're right. I think I'm not really thinking too much about the consequences of what I'm doing. So I think it would, because it's just a 20-foot cube.
Okay, I love that.
Okay, if you love it, I don't. Let's see what happens. 10, 17 hit points plus 18, 19, 20, 22 hit points worth of sleep.
Gotcha. Okay, how does this look when you cast this? Is this just sort of like...
I think I just start bearing down on Quinn as they are like continuing to chatter. And it's like hypnotism almost in this case, where it's like, I wouldn't say sharp and I wouldn't say alert. And I think you're starting to look a little bit out of sorts. You look tired.
And I think that you're looking really...
You've got bags under your eyes. Why don't you just take a load off?
Okay, I'm just gonna lie down right here.
Yes.
And she sits down at the she sits down on her chair and then just sort of like slumps. And then right as she does that, you hear a thud coming from the other side of the door, like right behind the doors that you were just about to walk through.
I think Talbotton's face drops and he goes, "Oh, damn it." And I open the door really carefully, like gently, in case someone is slumped against it.
You see a person just kind of flop out, their arm just sort of fall out, and it is a person with, the same sort of like priestly clothes, monk-like clothes, but underneath that there is a layer of chainmail, and you notice a sword strapped to their side.
How often is it for Lumineers? Does the Congress Monastery involve themselves with Lumen specifically?
The Congress Monastery involves themselves with all gods.
Right.
So, yeah.
But how tight are they with Lumen?
I guess this would be another religion check.
Would it? Okay.
I think that, or a history check. Either one, I think, is fair.
I'll tell you what, those are the same to me.
Yeah.
That's 7.
You don't know. I mean, you know that like you have definitely seen Lumineers at Congress Monastery before, but it's not a thing that like they're definitely not the only ones.
Okay, so but this doesn't strike me as like
this isn't crazy.
That person said Lumen's light. I mean, the person at the desk is obviously very into Lumen, but the Congress Monastery would hire people of all different faiths and So
yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I just sort of scoot them over to one of the benches.
Nice.
And just kind of like debate about should I try and wake them up, and then just figured no, because then they'll talk to me. And I'll have to explain it, and I'm already embarrassed.
Yeah. So yeah, you scoot them out of the way, and now the door is open, and if you want to go in, you can.
Yeah, I better tell Pard what happened.
Okay. Stepping inside, you see 2 rows of work desks, basically. Spaces that have old trinkets, that have old scrolls that are being like, copied, deciphered, that sort of thing. You also notice what looks like a monk who is just slouched over one of the work desks, now asleep, the closest one to the door. And then at the end of this row, you see another doorway which has sort of a space above it where a gargoyle. You remember there used to be a gargoyle there, but now the space is just empty.
You say a space? You mean like a transom, like an actual hole?
Yeah, like a little hole that last time you were here, there was a little gargoyle that was used to basically just not let people back in that room. And he kept asking you like riddles and shit, and he is not there anymore.
I think Talbotton just kind of walks towards that. As he passes the slumped over sleeping monk, he just kind of brings his hands up and goes, "Ooh," like fully realizing the extent of what he's done. And as he walks up to that door and notices the gargoyle's missing, just says, "Oh, well, thank God they got rid of that stupid thing."
Nice. So the door is unlocked. If you want to go through.
Yeah. Do I get any, my passive perception is only 13. Passive insight is 15. Do I feel anything? Is there anything that would make me feel unease?
So insight, the fact that you did a really bad insight with that other person.
Yeah, me, Mason, as a person, am very skeptical of this moment, but I don't know if Talbotton would be in this.
I don't feel like there's anything that has happened at this point that would specifically worry. I guess there was the fact that there was an armed person inside of Congress Monastery. That I think that's enough that you would be with a passive 15. I think the fact that there was an armed person inside of this is weird.
I think when I get to that door, I stop before opening it.
Okay.
And I listen very carefully.
Roll me a perception check.
See if I can hear Pard. Do I have... Oh, I need to mark the spell slot I used for sleep. So that a perception check is 17, 18, 19.
19?
19.
All right. Yeah, with a 19, you hear the dulcet sounds of Father Pard's voice on the other side of the door.
But I don't understand what he's saying.
You pick out...
or what is his emotion, at least?
He sounds consoling or frustrated, maybe?
So I cast message through the door, like without opening it.
Okay.
Because if you're familiar with the target and know it's beyond the barrier, you can cast message through it. So I beam a message into Father Pard's brain and just say, "Is everything okay? You've forgotten our anniversary." And he can whisper a response.
Right when you say that, the speech on the other side of the door like cuts short as your voice starts to appear in Pard's head, and he responds back, "You're right in the inside of the workshop, aren't you?" Then you hear, not through message, but actually being spoken,
"I think you're just gonna have to wait right here, and we'll have to finish this up later, all right?"
And you don't hear a response, but he just says,
"All right, glad to hear you understand. Now, I have an anniversary to get to, so we'll talk later."
And then you hear some footsteps coming towards the door. The door opens just a crack, and Pard tries to slip into the room without... Seems like he's not trying to let you see in.
I think Talbotton just tilts chin up, cocks head slightly to the side, and just looks at Father Pard like, what and then says, "Is everything okay? What? You're acting kind of strange."
Yeah. So first of all, I'll say what this person looks like as he steps into the room. He is fairly tall. He is very, very thin, like leaning towards maybe a little gaunt, and he's wearing very loose fitting, very comfortable looking clothes, but also not at all showy or fancy or anything like that. I don't think that we should. And then he glances around the room and he sees the person asleep at the workbench, and he's like, not again. And then he sees the person slumped in front of the door.
Were they important? It's weird to see someone with a sword in here. I was just trying to get the secretary. You look like you've had about as good a day as I have, buddy.
I've had quite a day. All right, you step out into the foyer. I'm gonna wake these two up. You just used sleep on them, right? You didn't knock them out or anything, did you?
Is that a real question?
I don't know. I don't know. I was step outside this room and listen. It's been a long day. All right.
Okay. You really aren't yourself today, Pard.
I'm sorry. I'm really. Listen. I'm sorry. This has been. I'll fill you in a minute.
Okay.
He walks over to the person on the workbench. Hey, friend. All right. Hey, you just took a little nap. All right, time to get up. Buck, go out, go in the foyer. All right, I'll meet you outside in just a minute.
Sorry, Pard. Yes. Yeah, and I dip out, and I definitely feel like shame.
Gotcha. After a moment, you are waiting in the foyer. It doesn't take very long at all before Hard steps out and closes the door behind him. And I would like you to roll me either an insight or a perception. Perception. Roll me a perception.
Okay. You sure it's not an insight, Ty? Are you sure I'm not trying to get insight on his state of being? I'm trying to see if there's something to...
Yeah, there's specifically you're looking or trying to see something.
Yeah, you're right. That is a 9, 10, 11, 12.
12? You don't really notice much other than his clothes seem a little like... He looks a little disheveled, but that's about it. That's all you notice. Thank you. Oh, she's asleep too. All right. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and sign out. Did you sign in? All right. No.
No, I didn't. That was on me. Well, all of this was on me, but that one I did intend to sign in.
You know what? You don't sign in. I'm just gonna sign out. And then we're gonna leave it at that. Hopefully these three will be too embarrassed to even mention this to each other, all right?
Yes, we can hope. I didn't mean to, not ideal. As soon as we get out of that area and we head back, I think Talbotton says, So what was that? Who are you talking with? And why was there a lumen...
Not here.
One of those lumen people with a sword?
Not right now. We'll get up to my office and then we'll talk this through, okay?
Oh, okay.
All right.
I cast message on the trip.
Yeah.
To him, and I say, do we need to make a dash from the monastery right now?
No. We're safe for now, but I actually want to talk to you.
Well, I'd hope so. It is our
Orph anniversary.
I don't want to say. They have a name for it, though. They definitely have a name for it. Like, where did they bump into each other?
Maybe at Divinity?
But they wouldn't call it D-Day. Divinity Day, or...
tea time.
Maybe just their tea day? Yeah.
Yeah. We'll think about it.
Yeah. I hope you'd want to speak to me. It is our blank day.
So you guys walk across, out of the Hall of the Forgotten, then across that little courtyard over to the building that has all of the offices. Stepping inside, this is a very simple stone structure, and it just has like a hall. It has a stair, some stairs, and you go up the first stairwell that you see, which leads you up to another hall, which has some more offices on it, and his office is at the very end. It's actually the farthest from the front door. You know that Hard likes to... He feels like he should have the least convenient spot.
That sounds like Pard.
Yeah. So opening the door, he gestures you into this this room, his office space. There's a simple wooden desk. There's a couple of bookshelves. You see every book that you have published, as well as all of the books that you give him. Then there's like a little coffee table, a couple of cozy chairs, as well as a self-heating teapot. So he starts preparing some tea for the two of you.
All right, go ahead and make yourself comfortable.
So did I wonder, how long was the walk?
Maybe like 5 minutes.
I think Talbotton wouldn't have been quiet that whole time, because I think this is probably the only thing he's been looking forward to. So I think I've brought up to Father Pard that I had an idea. I want to write my next book about one of the deities that have been forgotten as a way to worship them and bring awareness to them, and maybe that would help. Like maybe we could do some kind of a thing, and I don't know if he's been receptive to this or not.
That's so you brought that. Is this a new idea? Okay, this is not a thing that you have brought up to him before.
No, this just occurred to me.
Yeah, that's it sounds like a really lovely idea.
Right, and I figured that it would play into what you're doing and like what you're trying to achieve and what I'm trying to achieve.
No, yeah.
Kind of like a... Oh, you hate it, don't you?
No, I'm sorry, I just is...
Something's really up.
Have you
Boy, I feel like I just, you know when you have bad news that you need to give to someone, and you keep wanting to put it off, and so you try to think of the next thing that you can do to, and that second thing that's your backup thing to talk about is also bad news.
Yeah, just rip it off, Pard. Just dish what his... What's
yeah. Oh, jeez. All right. You heard about those.
Well, wait.
Yeah.
Let's put this off for literally just
all
one
right.
more moment. I did get you the newest book, and I did read it, and it's terrible, but I think that you will very much enjoy it, and so once you read it, here, it's...
He takes it, and he smiles and sits down in the chair across from you.
It's bent rose, hedge rose. It's full of all those things that that you and I love about the series.
I really appreciate it, and I promise that I'll read it and I'll let you know what I'm thinking. All right.
Okay, now ruin the moment.
As you're saying this to him, he finally seems to relax, and he takes off his priest collar, which dispels the illusion hiding his true appearance, which reveals his obsidian black skin and the long horns on the top of his head, as well as the sort of vaguely feline nose and feline eyes.
Ty?
Yeah.
Is this normal... Period, question mark. Is this...
Like you, Father Pard is a Brega tiefling, and like you, he uses an illusion to hide this from the rest of the world because the rest of the world doesn't know tieflings are a thing. And
that's brilliant, and I'm glad you didn't tell me. Yeah, so I think Talbotton pops off his top hat, and his nose sort of elongates and flattens out into what sort of looks like a deer snout, and you can see the stubs of two antlers on his head, and sort of what was just kind of a hairy beard just turns into a full sort of like almost like a deer face that he's got kind of going on.
Oh, that's really upsetting in a way that I love. Very, very creepy and good. Yeah, and so then the conversation continues because this is normal for them.
Super normal.
You heard about you've heard about all of those necromancy and the skeletons to the south?
Would I?
Yes, you have.
Yes?
Yes, you definitely. This is common knowledge, and it's also common knowledge at this point in Circ. It's common knowledge that this is real, that this is a thing that is actually happening.
Oh, yes, I have. I'm not going to lie. It's made it difficult to really think about much else.
Well, the thing is, they're not just down there. They're also,
Not in Circ.
They're not yet, but closer than I'd like it to be. You know, all right, this doesn't leave this room. Anything that we're about to say.
Of course.
I guess it's known when you take off the collar or you take off the hat, everything is just between us.
Right.
So, you know how when we started here, when I first arrived at Congress Monastery, I kind of made a name for myself, like going into the city, the Forgotten City, and
Yes.
doing research, finding lore, finding books, and just doing all that stuff. Well, at the same time that those skeletons woke up down in the south, they woke up in the city too.
Oh, no. Oh.
And they just kind of seemed to be going through like loops. They didn't seem to be anything serious, you know? It didn't seem like it was really anything to be worried about, I guess, other than the fact that it's, you know, really weird. I mean, I'm obviously worried about it, you know. But
Yes, but that they're so far removed from the ones down south. I thought I don't know the situation, but I heard rumors that there was like a caster or something responsible for the ones down south, and
I think that's that's the work of Lord Frederick. He doesn't want anybody to know what's really going on. He's been kind of a pain lately, but I understand. You know, you lose your son. It's just everything's
wait.
yeah. Was that in character, or was that you making a connection?
Would Talbotton have known that?
That Lord Frederick Talbotton would not have known about Roderick and Lord Frederick and, you know, that family.
So that would have been a revelation for him too.
That somebody died?
I thought you just implied that Lord Frederick was the one raising all of these skeletons.
No, sorry.
Oh,
no.
That's totally what it sounded like. I was
boy.
like, oh, hey, that's a big drop.
No. The implication was intended to be that Lord Frederick has been seeding misinformation, or has, like, whether intentionally or unintentionally. Like, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's way different, Ty. That's a lot different.
Oh, no, sorry. Thank you. That is an important clarification. That the implication was supposed to be Lord Frederick
Is seeding the misinformation.
whether intentionally or unintentionally. Yeah.
You know what? I think Talbotton might have been like, what? Frederick's raising the skeletons?
I don't mean that. I mean the rumors are his fault, and they're not like he's been doing the thing. No.
Oh, but they came up at the same time.
Yes.
That's upsetting.
Anyway, one of them kind of, well, they've been starting to get a little bit. They seem like they're breaking out of their cycles, because at first they were just kind of doing whatever. They were just living their lives, you know. They did seem to be doing the same thing every day, and we could keep going into the city. We could keep doing our research, and it wasn't a big deal. But some of them seem to be acting differently, and when you walked in, I was questioning one.
Oh.
And it's kind of hard because they can't really talk, so I haven't figured out a good way to communicate back and forth. I'm really hoping to find one that can write one of these days. But yeah.
Well, you were questioning one.
Yeah.
You said. Was this like a peaceful interview? Was this something both parties willing? You sit down and have a chat, or was this sort of a knockdown, drag out interrogation part?
I'm not Lord Frederick, and I want to help whatever these souls are that are being raised. I want to help them. All right, but to do that, I have to act fast, because if I don't get results, then the Lumineers they're kind of stirring up trouble, and I feel like they're going to try to take control here if I don't start showing results. Because you can see how hectic it's been for me lately.
Yes, because if they get out and begin to cause any kind of mischief or chaos, it's Circ is going to go absolutely kablooey with activity and people trying to take things into their own hands. And
Exactly.
I'm surprised the Lumineers haven't already marched down there and planted lanterns in every square inch of the place and just started dismantling.
Well, I fortunately, they're distracted right now. They're checking out, they're trying to, put up shop all over the world. So I think that's kind of keeping it dispersed.
This is bad.
Yes.
This is not good news. Yes.
But that's problem number one.
I thought you managed to roll both of them together into a tasty problem, like baklava. Whichever one isn't a garment, whichever one is the food. Except with problem. Sorry, it's a coping mechanism. This is terrible.
I'm trying to think of a natural way to segue from this to...
Is it like love, romantic troubles also? Is that why it's hard to segue?
I'm
Like
going to punch you in your face, all right?
Okay, well, there's your segue then, Pard.
You're all right. All right. I trust you with my life. We grew up together. We protected each other. And anyone else that I could ask to do something for me right now, I would have to worry, are they going to let slip something to Lord Frederick? And I don't trust that anyone else that I could ask for a favor would be well-meaning right now.
Yes.
I need somebody that can keep a secret.
Okay.
And I need someone that I trust with my life.
Well, I mean, easily I can fulfill both of those conditions, but it makes me, you have to understand, Pard, it makes me almost unbelievably nervous that you don't feel you can trust anyone here at the monastery with whatever this is.
I mean, I can trust some of our hired hunters and stuff. I can trust our muscle, but they're not exactly people that I can trust with, I have a favor.
What is... Yes, I figured.
Around the same time that the skeletons woke up, we lost contact with a sending stone.
Oh. Talbotton puts his whole head just very deep into his hands.
And I need... We kept thinking that it was just, something going on with... the guy who had found it, who had dug it up, he had been doing experiments with it, and we kind of thought, oh, he broke the thing, and that was bad enough. But it's been ages, it's been months, it's been almost a year, and we also have it on good authority that there were some weird things going on. Not skeletons, not necromancy, just some weird things going on, and I thought that if I was going to ask anybody to, on my behalf, look into that, it would be you.
Into fixing the sending stone?
Or at least finding out what's happening down there.
Well, this stone pair, the other one was in Renna, wasn't it?
We have one, there's one in Renna, and that's it. There's two, and now there's a third, and we can't use it. Think about how it would change the world. We can't send a message more than 120... 300 feet. Imagine instant communication across the world. This is a very important thing. And obviously right now, with the idea of like necromancy, skeletons popping up all over the world, having the added communication would be very important. Listen, I know I'm getting a bit into the tactics of things, but you can see why this is important.
Yeah. Yes. No. I mean, the transfer of information is.
And I wouldn't send you by yourself.
It depends. I mean, You're throwing a lot at me, Pard.
I know. I've got to be honest. When I was planning out this conversation, I didn't think that it would be quite as exposition heavy as it's turned out.
Well, it's not so much that as it is the emotional whiplash of, oh, there's a bunch of skeletons. Yes, of course there are. Oh, they're also, right there. Also, new sending stone. Also, how cool is that? Also, look at all of these problems. Like it's
a lot going on.
It's just a lot. I mean, I'll do anything you ask. It's just dumb. You should assume that anyway. You know me. I've got an extension on my next publishing date, and no inspiration. So perhaps this could help with that. Or if you were feeling generous and wanted to ghostwrite. It doesn't have to be good. It's just a small one.
I think I can copy the drivel that you put out sometimes. He says this very brotherly.
If anyone else said that, I hope you have expressed today how close you hold my regard, and this is me doing that for you. If anyone else had said that just now, I would probably behead them and fold them inside out. And I'm not sure that I can do that, but that is just an example. Yes. But I will do. I'm assuming you've thought of where to start in this process then?
Well, I think he looks over at a clock, and as he does, he also perks his head, and you hear some footsteps walking down the hall towards the door. He says, I think the first thing we should do, you should probably meet the marshal that I've hired to go keep you safe.
Oh, good. You did assume I'd say yes.
You know it.
Excellent.
He puts his collar on, and his appearance reforms.
Talbotton beams from ear to ear as he puts the hat on, and while still beaming, his smile sort of shrinks to a more normal proportion, and his nose turns back into just an odd-shaped normal nose, and so on, looking human again.
Right as that happens, you hear the footsteps stop, and then you hear a... Well, howdy there, Father Pard. Who's your friend?
Oh, good. I'm going to love every moment of this.
And I think that's where we're going to stop for today.
You're bringing blue!
I'm bringing blue!
Oh, I can't believe you're bringing blue. Oh my god, this is going to be wild.
Well, thank you very much, Mason, for coming along on this adventure with us. Do you have any thoughts right now before we wrap up?
Yeah, thank you so much, Ty. I am incredibly stoked, and I'm really thankful that you've brought me along for this ride, and you have brought one of my absolute favorite characters to be on it with me. That makes me so happy. You have no idea.
Well, I am very glad that you are excited, because I have been waiting for this for a very long time. Just to make this absolutely 100% clear, the quest that you are being sent on, just for listeners and for your own benefit, is to investigate why the sending stone has stopped functioning and to hopefully return its function.
Right. Actually, just for clarity, Pard said the stone was working in Circ, but it's the stone in Flughaven that isn't working.
Basically, they have not heard from anyone at Flughaven
Right.
in ages, despite the fact that they have a form of instant communication, which is very worrying.
How long have they had the Flughaven stone?
It would be, I'm not sure exactly the timeline, but it would be probably
Since Silas's arc?
Since before Silas's arc.
Okay. I was confused about time and stuff, so I think part of that last conversation might be a little funny, but it might come out okay in the wash.
I think it will. All right, as we wrap up, is there anything that you want to plug, Mason?
Yeah, check out some more shows on the Scavengers Network. I don't really have anything personal to plug, and also I don't know if you were going to say that.
No, that's perfect. I love it.
Well, actually, I have a website. If for some reason you want to see more of the stuff I'm involved in, just go to masonamadeus.com. masonamadeus.com.
And I will include that in the show notes. Go check out Unnatural 20s. Go check out Amateur Detective Club. Go check out all the great Scavengers Network shows. And until then, hey, Mason.
Hey, Ty.
How about we pitter-patter on out of here?
I've been waiting for so long to pitter-patter out of here.
Pitter-patter, 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 pitter-patter,
Pitter-patter, pitter-patter. Did it batter? All their patter? Pitter-patter.
Thanks to the Joy Drops for the use of Not Drunk as our intro and outro music. Find them at thejoydrops.com. You can find us at sidecharacterquest.com, at SCQ Podcast on Twitter, or by email at sidecharacterquest@gmail.com.
The Scavengers Network.
Creator-driven,
community-focused,
treasured content.
Podcube.
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 Podcasts from the past delivered to the future.
With Podcube's pseudo-linear 4D adiabatic qubit streaming technology, you can listen to audio from any time or place, in space or time or place.
Our very first Podcube was sent back in time to 1880 to Alabaster's haberdashery. And this is what the audio sounds like.
I am a horse mechanic. I do a lot of wet work.
What is the new smell? What is the new smell that I have from you?
Oh, that's excitement.
Oh
my.
Why are you whispering into your hand?
Oh, 1 moment.
Did you just kill a bird?
Oh my.
I have learned the operational parameters for my normal human vent muscles.
I'm going to take this chair and hurl it through the glass because what is anything anymore?
Search Podcube, all one word, in your podcast app.
Or visit poweredbypodcube.com.
Podcube.
Podcube.
The future
Is yesterday.
This is gonna get cut and put in the bloopers.
Let's count off. 1, 2. I count 1. You
3.
count 2. Okay.
Oh, okay.
1,
2,
3,
1,
2,
3,
4.
1. God dang it. Warming up the voice.
Warming up the voice.
Hey,
Yep.
oh, this is going to bother me again. How does Flight of the Valkyries go?
I
I keep thinking of da-da-dun, da-da-da, but that's football.
I started too high.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
it.
that thing.
That's it. Okay. Thank you. Thank you,
You're
Ty.
welcome.
That would
You're
have bothered me for years had we not sorted it.
Cool. How do you tend to go into shows? Like, how do you start?
Good Thursday evening, and welcome to your footloose and fancy-free, goofy, fun, and bantery, highfalutin fantasy podcast, Side Character Quest, with me, your side character guest, Mason, and with you as always.
Ty, this is Ty. And how did you go from 0 to 60 so fast?
I've been saving that up for so long.
Holy shit. Hello everybody. Yeah, this is Ty, and with me this week is our good buddy Mason.
You don't have to use that intro if you don't want. It was very much like starting the gas with a lighter.
I am just surprised that at the force that came out. I didn't want to lose it. All right. Hello and welcome to Side Character Quest. With me today it's your turn now.
I'm some kind of monster like you always do. I'm the monster of how does it feel now, buddy?
Oh man, it feels really good. I love it. I love it when this happens.
Do I get to play D&D now?
Yeah, the monster gets to play D&D. Your character will be what's your character you're playing today? I don't like this. I don't like this intro.
No.
I just threw it at you just to see what would happen. The idea being that that way we're anybody that is new to the show doesn't have to deal with a bit that before they actually get to know us.
Fair. I like that. I dig that.
Yes. All right.
Don't put them through our bits before they get to know us.
Exactly.
Oh. This is the table. This is my mind table and my mind palace, and I'm wiping it off. Let's go.
All right.
I think I won't go into like the full story of the name sort of thing, but that's the important name to know is Talbotton, who is a Brega tiefling. But what he is mainly is basically like a Nickelback of poetry, I guess. It's the only, except less lame. He's a poet. He's a bard.
Behind the scenes. I didn't know if I wanted to call this a Brega tiefling or a cryptid tiefling because Brega tiefling has no meaning outside of SEQ. And so I had the idea of calling this a cryptid tiefling for release and for other people's sakes. And then I was like, no, let's just call it Brega tiefling, but I completely threw everything off. Well, yeah. But you can call it
Brega or cryptid.
Yeah. You can just
So how about this?
Yeah.
That way you can find it. College of Creation Bard, and he is a tiefling, specifically a Brega tiefling. So College of Creation Bard, and he is a tiefling, specifically a cryptid tiefling, which Ty homebrewed for this specific arc, which is super cool.
Yeah, so it's basically like there will have been a fade out, and then we'll be doing a fade in on a scene.
Oh yeah, and the music gets EQ'd down at the top. So
Is Sidewalk getting picked up by the mic?
yeah, Sidewalk's coming through a little bit.
Oh gosh, listeners, I got a cat since we last recorded. Hey bud.
And he is adorable.
He's very cute. Father Pard, yeah, man. Jesus Christ. Okay, just a moment.
Yeah, no worries.
He's going insane.
He's getting into the shoes. Oh, and there he goes. Zoomies time. Ty has left frame left. Oh, and then he left. Oh, he's exited stage right. Now he's exited stage left. Seems to be having some trouble tracking down this cat, but I think he might have left with the cat this time. He's gone. He's staying gone. Inexplicably, Ty has what looks like a cross-stitching of a 1940s farm tractor in his hallway. It's a red tractor on a yellow background, and it looks nice. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm sure there's a story behind it, and I want to know. The thing is, I know Ty is going to hear this and probably delete it. And Ty, if I was you, that's what I'd do too. But when you hear this, tell me what the tractor is. I want to know. Because it's not every day you see a cross stitch of a tractor that's that detailed, is the thing. Like, it looks, I know the camera's a little blurry because it's like.
And so he gets busy, oh my God. Can you really not hear that?
That one came, the last two came through.
Okay.
It was before that when there was the threshold wasn't met yet. Okay. Can I ask a question that might make me sound like a big old dum-dum?
No, you're cool.
Inside the circle?
Where are you?
I thought the Congress Monastery was in Circ.
Yes. Okay. So,
we're in Circ, the city.
So, let me talk about how this is. Circ stands for the city by the circle, the city under the circle, the city next to the circle, something like that. So you've got the city of Circ, and then just north of the city of Circ, you have a massive stone circle of just like this very, very solid stone wall, similar to the wall that surrounds everything, but it is smaller, and it is just directly above north of the city of Circ. And adjacent to the circle, you have the Congress Monastery, which it's built on that stone circle. Did that make sense? Or should I rephrase?
So it's not the impenetrable outer circle of everything.
No.
I thought when I looked at the map, I don't remember seeing this other circle.
Okay, 1 second. I feel like I'm going to cut out a lot of this just so that I can.
Yeah, I think I just have a fundamental misunderstanding of the world that just needs to be corrected
that's
very
fair.
quickly. I'm pulling up your.
I'm going to send you a picture on a Messenger or an Instagram post on Messenger. Okay, so what I'm talking about, so there's the circle that is the wall that everything is inside of, and you see the star where Circ is? See that's that circle. So I need a better way to describe this.
I thought that for some reason that whole circle was the city of Circ.
No, that is the circle that is above the city Circ, which is where Circ gets its name.
Okay.
Do you remember? Did you listen? You've listened to Alton's first arc, right?
Yeah.
The city that Alton found is inside of that circle.
Oh. I don't know why spatially that didn't click for me.
No, that's fair.
But I also am the kind of person who can't remember anything geographical, period.
No, yeah.
So that might have just been that.
I'm trying to think of like how, okay, where did we leave off? Because I want to like pick in and just assume that you have footsteps stop and then you hear a knock, knock, knock on the door.
Come in. Did I do it? Did I sound like you?
Perfect. I'm trying to think if I want to include this in bloops. I'll just stop.
Okay.
Or do you want to stop? Or do you
no,
want to
it's fine. I'm stopping right now.